Okay, Aussie yen. Not doing what I hoped it would. Can see it looked really good. It broke this 94 level. I did take a small position right around here actually. This wasn't my trade. I didn't have a stop loss or anything. So I'm still in it. Looking to possibly buy more when it comes down here, which might be a little risky, but I'll have to evaluate that when it happens. Lots of bearish momentum going back into the zone, which is surprising, and then you have these huge wicks here, so yeah, Aussie yen's just not as bullish as I had hoped, and I think most of the yen pairs are actually playing out that way right now. So looking at this now, I mean, this trade was not good, but I am in it, so I'm gonna have to work my way out of that trade somehow, or take a small loss, but it is what it is. It does happen. So looking at this now, I mean, this 93 level is still valid. It's held lots so far, but the only thing I'm concerned about is this lower liquidity zone. So this at one point was the lower liquidity zone, and now it's down here. So hopefully this 93 level holds this, and then, I mean, if we can look for some, I'd like for price to cross back over this 1 hour moving average. Right now we have textbook bear structure, lower lows, lower highs, so this is pretty ugly going into this zone, but I mean, we'll see how it we'll see what happens when it hits this zone. It hits this 93 level, this whole level. This 1 hour candle is pretty bearish, but hopefully the next one in 6 minutes is a lot less. And hopefully this finds some support in this 93 area. But yeah, price is even way below on the 4 hour, so kind of tricky, because you're looking for, you want some bullish structure to start setting up. So I mean, if bullish structure doesn't start coming into place, then I might have to figure something out, maybe hedge it, maybe take a small loss. There's a factor of scenarios. So, but as of right now, I'm just waiting for price to hold in this 93 level. It's still bullish, like it's still above this moving average. The Aussie interest rates are still incredibly higher than the Japan. Japan has negative interest rates, so that's not the only thing to consider with buying this currency pair, but I mean, it is a huge factor. So yeah, maybe this is just finding you know, some support. I mean, maybe it breaks this 93 level, and then 92.5. There's a little bit of a, there's a segment of price here that could favor us. So you know, maybe it breaks this 93 level, comes down to 92.5, between 92 and 92.5 somewhere. That could happen, but I'm still bullish Aussie yen and all the yen pairs. So I think it's just about you know, entering at the right time. And so like up here was a bad time. I jumped the gun a little bit, and it makes sense now looking at it, because you can see like I should have waited for, because the daily structure was still bearish, right? Because we still had lower lows and lower highs. I entered at about this point, and then you can see all these wicks come in. They came in after, but you know, price never broke this high up here. So, but in my mind, if once price broke this area up here, it's not worth the risk as much. So that was kind of my logic. I kind of took a chance down here. I mean, there was good bullish momentum coming out of this zone. So, you know, as far as like these 4 candles before this one wicked heavy. But so yeah, that's Aussie yen. I think might just have to wait. Hopefully it finds some bullish support here, and then even if I can just hold it to, you know, break even kind of thing. I think I'm right in at like 94.20 or something, maybe just above 94, somewhere in this area. So yeah, ideally might have to buy in at a lower price here and see if I can kind of average out if we get some sort of bounce, or buy and hold, buy more and just hold it, and hopefully it cracks this zone and keeps heading up. But at this point it's running out of time for the month. So this is the monthly range at about 500 pips, but I mean, for example, if this is the monthly high now at you know, at or even this one here, I guess this is technically August 1st. If 95.8 was the high for the month and it moves 500 pips down, then you're looking at like 90.8, which is way down here. So maybe price moves that far. I mean, then it's bearish though, because it's below this moving average. So I don't know if that'll happen. So I think price could possibly just be retracing. If we put this on a weekly, you can see that it never really pulled back, so kind of makes sense that it's doing so now. So it might pull back actually to this 50% zone or just above it here, so which would put us kind of, well, I mean, if it pulls back to this 618 zone, that's right around the monthly range at like 90.8. So I mean, these are factors. This week's turning out to be very bearish, to be honest. Like it's engulfing as we speak just about, so that's a little scary. I might have to dump my position. If you guys have any positions open on Aussie yen here, you might have to dump them or hedge them and possibly just sell it down to 94, which I could see happening if price breaks this zone and you know, continues these lower lows, lower highs in this bearish structure. Looking at that now, like this a retracement of this segment actually kind of makes sense, and it would put us at that same level here, so it is very possible. So that's kind of what got to keep in mind. Kind of got dragged into a position I shouldn't have put myself in right here. You can see that. I mean, it did. Yeah, price. I entered before I had all this rejection though. That's the thing. So I should have probably closed it earlier, but now I've held it. So I'll have to just figure it out. Maybe take a small loss. It does happen. It's part of trading, but make it back on the next one. So that is Aussie yen. Could if we get a bounce here, it might be worth a buy still. If it breaks this area, it's probably going down lower for the 10 the month, and it's probably going down to like 91. So might be something like that. We'll just have to wait and see. I don't think it'd go that far, but it could. It really depends on the other Aussie pairs too, which are super bearish, like Aussie CAD, Aussie Swiss, so even Aussie USD. So I mean, it's if the Aussie, I mean, the yen is very weak, but if the Aussie's that weak, I mean, it might fall a bit further than we think. So that's Aussie yen. I'm hoping for the best, but we will see.